Hi, the Hawaiian Shirt Coder here, and before we get stuck into our Web API series, I thought I'd just walk you through the many different ways you can use this series to help your learning towards moving from no knowledge of ASP.NET Web APIs to having a good firm knowledge of the basics and a bit more. So I've devised this course in a way that there are many ways you can learn about Web API from what your particular needs are. So if you just want to get up and running really quickly with the bare basics of what an ASP Web API is, then you can just use parts 1 through to 3, the areas in orange on the slide. So creating a solution, getting data from our Web API and modifying data with our Web API. That will give you the bare bones of what a Web API is and how you create one. But this would be considered demoware. You couldn't use this just on its own for a production-based system. My recommendation, instead of just going through 1 to 3, is to go from parts 1 through to 11, the best practice. And this will give you a production ready system. So as well as adding to the basics, we'll introduce some best practices, single lines of responsibility, solid principles, and lots of good stuff like that. Also introducing a more tiered architecture. So there'll be an actual design based on going through steps 1 to 11. It doesn't stop there though. If you want to continue your learning, because in software nothing's ever finished, there are even more best practices that you can introduce into your Web API that aren't mentioned on this slide or actually shown in the YouTube channel itself. If you want these will be available on other channels, and they may be paid channels. They'll include things like best practice for documentation, what is dependency injection, solid principles, unit testing, integration testing, and creating and consuming a Web API with our own client. So if that's of interest to you, please have a look at the alternative channels to YouTube and see if that fits the bill. So I'm the Hawaiian Shirt Coder. That's the end of this session. Please remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Remember, keep learning, keep exploring, keep developing, and I'll see you next time.